The LEGO Speed Champions time machine from Back to the Future, aka the Delorean, is one of the best LEGO sets of 2026, and the year hasn't even started. It hits all of the right notes, and there's a lot of those, believe me, but not without its faults. So let's talk about it, and thank you LEGO for sending it for review. With Lightning McQueen and now the Time Machine, Speed Champion seems to be leaning into movie-themed vehicles now, as opposed to the F1 heavy focus they did in 25, and I love it. It opens so many collaboration opportunities that I love to see, like Ghostbusters or Jurassic Park, but the Back to the Future DeLorean is all I ever wanted, honestly. The box art brings me back to an iconic scene from the first movie, if we disregard the fact that Doc wasn't inside the car then, and turning the box around does the same for the movie's ending scene. Oh, what's this? A 2-in-1 model? More on that later on. While the car is obviously the focus of this set, let's not forget the two minifigures included, Doc Brown and Marty McFly. Doc has his radiation suit on with printed torso, front and back, and dual expression head. One having the bandage from when he hit his head in a toilet sink in 1955 and had the idea for the flux capacitor. Marty has the same level of detail as far as printing goes, for the head too, and wears his red puffed vest. These go great next to my Back to the Future 2 versions of the characters sourced from the Icons DeLorean. But this is what we're here for, the minifigure version vehicle. Looks-wise, it's all there. The futuristic lines the original body of the car has, the slight tilt forwards when you look at it from this side, that iconic front, or the crazy amount of details on the engine side, most of it due to Doc's modifications to enable time travel. Now, if you're wondering, no, the car does not have the iconic gull-wing doors, unfortunately. To access the interior, you simply remove the windscreen element like you do in all Speed Champions cars, and I'm kind of okay with that. It would have been amazing to have the doors, of course, but that would probably compromise the looks for the sake of the function. And if we time travel to the last time LEGO did have gull-wing doors on a minifigure scale DeLorean time machine in 2013, it looked like this. Yeah. I'm not even mad about it. Now, a lot of the car's decorations come down to a mix of printed pieces and stickers, and with this being a Speed Champions set and how used I am with their usual gigantic sticker sheets, surprisingly enough, the DeLorean only has 7. The MC logo in the front, DeLorean branding in the back, plutonium chamber level indicator inside, and some of the stripes on the sides. Sadly, this is one of the other negatives of this set, where the gray on the stickers doesn't perfectly match the color on the bricks. But if we put that aside, moving on with the printed parts is where it gets interesting. On the front, the temporal demodulation coils are made out of 3 different types of elements, transparent blue originally with the printed details on top, which is a really nice way to showcase the glowing effect these parts on the car have when attempting to time travel. Then the headlights are 2 window panes that the graphic designer smartly did this way so that a single print would work for both sides, just by turning it either way instead of needing 2 dedicated prints for them. Smart. The 4 wheel caps are printed, a small 1x1 tile next to those off-colored stickers is another, the windscreen element is too, and taking it off reveals the time circuits display in the dashboard with the dates of November 5th of 1955 already referenced before, and also the date where Marty traveled to the past. And then October 26th of 1985, where the first successful time travel experiment occurs, and the date when Marty is sent to the past. This tile here isn't new, but there's yet another printed window pane, this time around with the flux capacitor. There's more temporal demodulation coils in the back, making use of a corner tile not seen in the front. The plutonium chamber is here as a printed 2x2 dish element. You'll barely notice this, but this transparent cheese slope has a grey patch to match the back of the car. And finally, the out of time license plate to close things off. No, not really, there's 2 extra prints for the Back to the Future 2 version of the car, which include the Mr. Fusion attachment that goes on top of the plutonium chamber and the future license plate version. Not counting minifigures, there's 34 printed elements in this set. That is crazy if you ask me. But that's not the end of the craziness, as the set comes with some incredibly useful brand new pieces. Everyone already knows about the cheese slope and the double cheese slope, right? But now there's a triple cheese slope in light gray and black for the DMC logo in the front. But wait, there's more! There's also a quadruple cheese slope in light and dark gray. These are amazing for custom builders, and I'm sure there will be a lot of color variations going forward. But if that wasn't enough, I think the one that blew my mind the most was a T-shaped bracket hidden in the reactor vents. So useful. Now, I know I've been rambling too much about prints and new elements, but it all makes sense in the end, believe me. As shown in the box, the characters do fit inside the car, as they should. And while the model displayed on the front of the box is the Back to the Future Part 1 version, there's also the possibility of doing the Part 2, as you're given that option in the building instructions at some point. I was kinda scared that going through both versions would require an insane amount of rebuilding time, but that's actually not the case. You'll just need to remove the lightning hook, replace the plutonium chamber lid with the Mr. Fusion, and do the same with the license plates. Then remove the wheels, their pins, wheel caps, place them on these plates with bars, and just assemble them to the car like this. No crazy function like the Icon's Delorean, sadly, but this shouldn't take you more than 1 or 2 minutes to do, which I'm fine with. I do prefer the car's version with regular wheel position, but it's great to have the option to change. Just don't make the mistake that I did of leaving the wheel caps on and placing the pins on the flight mode. When you're trying to go back, you'll be left with an almost impossible build to take apart. With the magic of video editing, I'm able to get both versions side by side, which is kinda cool, and it's a real shame that we don't get extra pieces to do the third version of the Delorean. But as I was looking at McQueen's wheels, I came up with a little mod that, while not exactly perfect, does a good enough job in my eyes to make up for it. So do let me know if you'd like a separate video with the instructions for this. With all of that said, I guess we're all buying 3 of these, right? It kinda depends on pricing though, and with an IP license, 2 minifigures, new elements, a ton of prints, not to mention the 357 piece count the set has, this all looks like the perfect recipe for yet another overpriced LEGO product. Well, I guess the LEGO group time traveled to a point in time where whatever the reason is these days to price LEGO sets the way they are didn't exist still, as this thing will retail for $28. Great Scott, isn't that crazy? Just yesterday I reviewed the Lightning McQueen set, and while it's priced exactly the same, it does not have 2 minifigures, it has a lot more stickers, far less printed elements, and an overall piece count difference of almost 100 pieces. Even last year's F1 cars that were slightly cheaper can't still beat the DeLorean in terms of value. Sure, there's a few shortcomings with this set, but 95% of it is literally perfect. Nostalgia hits really hard with it. It also has the Easter eggs for the fandom, including a cute call out for the building step 88, if you know what I mean. This plays really nice wherever you want to have it, quite affordable, and at the end of the day has an insane amount of value I'd like to see in every product LEGO puts out. I've said it in the beginning of this video and I'll say it again. The LEGO Speed Champions Time Machine from Back to the Future is one of the best LEGO sets of 2026. You can pre-order it now from Amazon, and it will become available from LEGO on January 1st. Links for purchase in the description if you wish to support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all Back to the Future.